Okay, let's take a look at policies. Policies within the system tree are found right here. As you click through the tree, you'll see those policies that are applied to that part of the system tree. And within the policies area, you'll see there are policies for each McAfee product. I'm going to go over the McAfee agent and virus scan for Enterprise 8.7. The McAfee agent policy is a fairly simple policy. But looking at all the policies, you'll be able to see that this is the policy that's being applied to this group. We do have Gannett default policies for all the products, and they've worked well for most standard configurations. And then you can notice that down here, you'll see whether or not this policy applies to all systems in that group, or if there are ones that don't inherit. Should you want to take a look at that, you can click on it to drill down. You'll see which groups or individual systems do not have that policy. And should you want to reset that inheritance, you can simply check on them and click down here and reset the inheritance. If you wish to change the policy that's being applied, you can go over here and edit the assignment. Now you are not able to edit the Gannett default policies. However, you can create your own policies should these not work or meet your needs. So the way you'll do that is that you can select from other policies. There are different policies available. If you wish to create your own policy, you can create a new policy and select a policy to start with. When you create a new policy, please put your prefix on so that we know who that is. And that's all there is to it. Let's take a look at this policy. Again, since this is a Gannett default policy, everything is grayed out. If you create a new policy, then everything, and you can do it from this level here. You can click the duplicate option, and it'll basically copy this file in the same manner. Again, use your prefix. The two things I wanted to show in this, you can take a look at your leisure, some of the options here. One is the repositories. We have a series of distributed repositories on the WAN, and we have it set to look at all the policies, do a ping test, and grab the closest one. And that works just fine. Should you want to do it differently, you can create your own policy to do so. But this has worked fine for everybody. And the other thing is the updates. This is where the computer will, what software branch it will get its updates for the engine and the DAP primarily. And there are three branches. There is the evaluation, current, and previous software branches. So our default policy obviously gets it for the current. There are also policies for testing and evaluation that we'll get from the evaluation branch. And then there's also ones to get them from the previous branch should you need to stay down level on a particular engine or DAT. One other thing to remember, if you do create a policy, you will be, by default, the creator is the only one who can then edit that policy. If you would like to have other admins in your group being able to administer and edit that policy, if you'll just open a ticket with Gannett IT, we can then add other users to be able to edit that particular policy. But for the most part, you're going to adjust these policies while you're testing, and once they're done, you really don't need to make a lot of changes to that. So that is the McAfee agent policy. And again, you can take a look at these policies in the group, and you can also take a look at a policy or change a policy on a specific machine. So if you need to, you simply select the machine, and you're going to go down here, look at these menu options. If it's not available, you'll go down here and you're going to say modify policies on a single system. You'll get a similar interface, but you'll notice in the blue bar it'll tell you that you're modifying just on a single machine, and then you can edit the assignment and select the appropriate policy or create a new policy. And that's all there is to it to set the policy. Once you have set the policy, if you wish to distribute that policy immediately to the machine, then you'll click on it again from the system tree and you'll send an agent wake-up call, accept the defaults, and hit OK. And that will force the client to check in and get its new policies. So we've taken a look at the McAfee agent policy. Let's take a look at the VirusScan policy. And there are actually multiple sub-policies that govern VirusScan 8.7. I'm going to cover the most important ones, and you can take a look at the other ones. We're going to look at access protection, which is basically the firewall. We're going to take a look at on-access default processes policy. This is what's being scanned at all times. We do not use the on-access general high-risk or low-risk policies. On-delivery email scan is turned off by default because we have McAfee Group Shield scanning the Exchange infrastructure, including individual mailboxes. If you have a standalone POP server that's not being scanned by Group Shield, then you may want to enable it. Quarantine Manager we're not using. We'll cover unwanted programs, and we'll also cover the user interface.